Welcome to the Digital Dreaming Off the Gridiron podcast. I'm your host, Asif Ali. Today's guest is returning three-time guest, current NFL free agent defensive end, most recent member of the Seattle Seahawks and Colorado University Buffalo standout, man, the myth, legend himself, Alex Tchangam. Alex, how you doing today, bro?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. So, yeah, no, I mean, 1 month removed from being waived. First of all, sorry about that. That must be a pretty tough, kind of situation.
Nah, man, everything happens for a reason. I just don't I try not to dwell on it. I just keep working. I just let things fall in place.
Yeah, 100%. Now that's the mindset you want to have, So, and obviously, and we'll get into kind of, obviously your last year, with Seattle. I know you're on the podcast in January, and so now we can talk about kind of, last 5-6 months, with the team, before they trimmed down from 90 to 89. And pretty much, obviously, anyone who's played football at some level, whether it's semi-pro, professional, or NFL, right? I mean,
right.
You know how tough the business is,
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's for you, I'm sure you look at it as just another opportunity, right?
Right.
Yeah, 100%. All right, cool. So let's get into it. So you were in Seattle for obviously almost a year, from last year up until this year, until June, from August to June, right? And so obviously you talked about kind of your experience with the team last time you were on the show about, obviously, being on the practice squad, kind of learning lessons from all the different players, Pete Carroll as a coach. Kind of what did you learn, obviously, going through this kind of offseason? This is your first spring camp and your first mini camp OTAs with the Seahawks. What did you learn from that experience?
I learned a lot, man. Just getting a full off season with an NFL team. So that I learned a lot more about football. Just like a little bit more than I already not a little bit more, but a lot more than I already knew. So, and then I had a great connection with the players and the coaches. And I just kind of built a bond with those guys. I still talk to some of them today, but it was a good time for sure. We was always competing, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I can only imagine, obviously, with all those guys. Let's actually talk about some of those guys because, obviously you were the last transaction before training camp started. But let's talk about those guys, right? Like, for example, Russell Wilson got traded to this guy's team, right?
Yeah, right.
And, first of all, let me ask you, what was the feeling like before and after, they made the announcement, in Seahawks, the locker
room? Obviously, I try not to, for me personally, I try not to focus on what's going on with another man. I kind of just focus on me and just try to help the team as much as I can. So when that happened, I'm sure there was a lot of people who were kind of shocked that it happened, but this is the business of that's just how the NFL is. That's just how things work. And then, after everybody kind of figured it out, like this past off season, everybody just moved on. Like, it happens to every team, and all you can do is really focus on the guys who are there and the guys who are trying to better themselves and help the team win, in any kind of way, or
100%. No. And I can only imagine, obviously, like you said, the mindset is that, it's a business. Like, for you, obviously, your ultimate objective is to make the active roster, right? So you're not really too caught up in all that noise, which is the right mindset to have. You also talked about kind of the players and the mentorship. And one of the guys, obviously the best middle linebacker of the last decade, Bobby Wagner, was also a transaction, which took place while you're on the team. So again, same question. What was the mood like beforehand, after, were you kind of, were you personally impacted by it in any sense of the way? Because you guys do play the same position, or not the same position, but So,
it was shocking a lot. Just everybody. I think everybody to everybody was pretty shocking. All the moves kind of happened in the off season, so we weren't really the players weren't together. I guess everybody just kind of found out the same way everybody else found out, which was over the internet. When I first saw it on Instagram, I was shocked. I was like, "Whoa, wow!" He just got released. But then I was like, "That's the that's the nature of football. That's just how the NFL is. It's a business. But it was, I mean, like my mindset was just, so if he can get released, that means anybody can get released, you know. So you gotta know how you approach every day, and you gotta just work hard and then just always be, you know, the player that they expect you to be, you know, and just always try to help the team as much as you can.
What lessons did you learn from Bobby?
I didn't know Bobby that long, but the things I learned was like his leadership on the field. It was just like he would critique the little things that most people don't really think about. So that's one thing that I always kind of keep in my head, like you should always pay attention to the little things.
100%. Yeah, those little details are the difference between a good player and a great player like Bobby. So now, obviously, like you said, you know, obviously, like, you know, you found out like everyone else did. And then now we're going to fast forward to kind of your experience when you got the call about the waiver, right? Waivers come and then they give you that call. What was your initial reaction kind of, you know, to that message? Or did you kind of have a forewarning or heads up beforehand?
You talking about when I got waived?
When you got waived, yes.
It kind of happened out of the blue. It was the last day of OTAs overall, so everybody was getting ready to go wherever they wanted to go for training, and it kind of surprised me. But like I say, I try not to dwell on things like that. Like so yeah, it surprised me that it happened, but they let me go, and then now I just focus on me, and I just try to like just get better as a player, and hopefully another team signs me, and I can show them what it is that I bring to the table.
100%. You know, I actually did my 99th episode, and the last actual full episode before this one, about Kurt Warner and the American Underdog story. And if anyone's familiar with Kurt Warner, I'm sure you are. You know, if you saw the movie, he got to Green Bay Packers training camp. Coach Mariucci on the day he got there said, "You got to get in there." And he said, "I'm not ready, coach." And then basically at the end of training camp, Mariucci calls to his office and he says, "You're out." Which then led to him having to go to the Arena Football League. So sometimes, you know, a door closing it always leads to another opportunity. Obviously, Kurt Warner wanted to become a Hall of Famer, right? So, right. I mean, to your story, I'm sure that you feel that same resolve, right?
Yeah, I mean, but the one thing that I always keep in mind is, even though a situation doesn't work somewhere else, I just always appreciate the opportunity I was given.
Right.
So that's just always something I try to stay as positive as positive as I can. Really, I never really try to see the negative in anything.
100%. Yeah, I mean, what parting thoughts did the Seattle Seahawks front office and coaching staff leave you with before when you got the call?
I was just told that they just told me to appreciate everything I did for them in the off-season training, and then they just told me to just keep training, and hopefully they could possibly bring me back, or they just said good luck if any other team picks you up. Good luck, and I hope that everything works out. So I left out. So I left Seattle on good terms, and I like the people there.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the way you should do it, right? Because if you keep the bridges open, then it can always lead to an opportunity down the road. So
right.
Yeah. But let's talk about those free agent. This is really tumultuous in Seattle. I mean, kind of the free agency, right? With Russ going to this guy's team, Denver, to Bobby going to the Rams. Actually, last time you were on the show, you predicted the Rams would win the Super Bowl, and you were right. You were the only guest to pick the right Super Bowl pick before the Super Bowl. Now, with Bobby Wagner replacing Von Miller, with Russell Wilson going to Denver, what are you looking forward to this coming NFL season?
What am I looking for, like, personally for me, or just the NFL?
For personally, and then also the NFL. Yeah.
I mean, for me, personally, I'm just hoping for another great NFL season.
Yep.
I hope whatever team I'll be really excited to just go on any team. It doesn't really matter which team is, as long as I get an opportunity, I'll be very thankful. But overall, though, I know this year is gonna be a very great year for football. I know like all the fans gonna be super excited, and yeah, I just have a really good feeling about this year.
Do you think the Rams are going to repeat now with Bobby?
I don't I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I mean, any team, every team is training right now and trying to get to the Super Bowl. So you just never know who's gonna make that step and win it. So
it's funny you say that. My last couple episodes, I did kind of recaps of the NFL top 10 games of 2021 NFL Network. And literally, like what you just said, you never know. Tampa Bay, they lost AB, Chris Godwin, and Tristan Wirfs heading into the divisional round playoff game against the Rams. They came back and tied it. The Rams came and they came back from behind. They won that game, and they ended up beating my Niners en route to making the Super Bowl, right? So essentially, ended up winning the Super Bowl as you predicted, right? And essentially, like people were saying, I mean, now that Brady's coming back, Tampa Bay should be number one in the NFC, but the Rams are still Super Bowl champions. You know what I mean? And Tampa Bay just picked up Kyle Rudolph, right? And I mean, obviously, you still got Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I mean, but he lost Devontae, and Devontae's going to the Vegas Raiders, and they got Josh McDaniels as new head coach, and DC, who just made the playoffs last year. And then you also got Cincinnati. I mean, there's going to be a lot, and obviously Jimmy G and over here in San Francisco, right? Jimmy G and Trey Lance. We'll see what happens with that offseason, with that training camp storyline. So there's a lot of different types of narratives going on right now. So I agree with you. It's going to be a great NFL season, no doubt. I'm really intrigued to see what happens with Russell in Denver. I think that team has a core great young defense and a great running game. They were just one quarterback away, and now they have that quarterback. And I think, it's going to be interesting to see how the AFC West shapes out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he do with the Broncos, because they have a pretty good team over there.
They have a really good team. I actually had Ryan Harris on the show, Super Bowl 50 champion, on last episode in March before I took a break, and now obviously we're back on with you being the first kind of inaugural guest. Welcome 101. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like man, like you look at it and you're just like, wow, like I mean, so many different things can play out, And I think obviously, like I said, for you personally, obviously any team that gives you the opportunity, you'll basically seize it and run full speed ahead. And I mean, I have no doubt that you will do that. You know what I mean? But I think ultimately it's also like from a fan perspective, from how I look at it, I'm just like, wow, like there is a lot, like you said, another great NFL season. It's going to be a lot of great. There's going to be a lot of great storylines. It's just for me, when I look at Seattle, I mean, they could have got Baker Mayfield, and they might not even get Jimmy G. And on their roster, they got Geno Smith, Jacob Eason, and some other quarterback who I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you met any of these guys when you were there.
They got Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
Yeah.
And so I mean, actually, let me ask you first. How was it like meeting those? Did you meet any of those players during practice or OT or no?
Yeah. I met all those guys. Gino, really great guy. I've spoken with him a few times. Drew Lock, I've just said what's up to him here and there. But everybody in the locker room is like, they're all cool people, great friends. Everybody's like super, super cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, the coolest thing about, like, and I'm sure you can talk about this, the different personalities in the NFL locker room, right? You have various personalities, various kinds of, skill sets, because they're all different skill position players, right? Like in your profession, right? So essentially, like what you can do is you can draw different lessons and different inferences from the different veteran leadership and different. I mean, let me ask you this: did you get, like, for example, from Russell Wilson or any of the offensive players? Did you get any lessons from the offensive side of the ball, from any of the veteran leaders or any of the players from the offense that helped you a little bit in your approach to the game?
I think not really from like quarterbacks or anything like that. I think more on like off like the offensive line.
Yeah.
And certain ways that they're set and certain things that they expect from a defensive player. And just kind of their view on like kind of just how they see things compared to the way we see things.
Right.
So that would really be the only thing I say I've gotten from like a offensive player like out there.
Absolutely. No. So I mean, any specific kind of players you want to shout out from the Seattle Seahawks locker room, from the offense side of the ball or defense side of the ball?
I mean, defense side of the ball, everybody on defense, we was all cool. We always talked about the game, so I can shout out everybody on the defense. On the offense, I wasn't, as a defensive player, you just kind of hang out with your position group. But as an offense, I say sometimes whenever we did like one-on-ones against the offensive line, just kind of hearing some of the things that they say, some of the things that they talk about, I say I could like shout out to the whole O-line, the O-line coaches, and just shout out to those guys.
100%. Shout out to all the coaches, O-line coach, obviously Coach Pete Carroll, the head coach, right? Gotta give shout out.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. And so pretty much now, kind of with that said, you mentioned, so we talk about being on the practice squad a bit, when you said traveling to games and you get to basically, stand on the sidelines. But then, I mean, you weren't able to see any action in a regular season game, but were you able to get some action in the preseason, maybe last preseason, or were you not able to kind of, get yourself in the mix?
I played in the preseason last year. The one I played in was against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Literally. That was the only team I played against. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun for sure. It was my first, NFL game. So you're a little bit out there. Like I was a little bit out there, like a little nervous because, it's the first game, my first ever NFL game. So, but it was fun being out there and just competing with, against another team and then just playing with people, the guys that I know. So it was fun. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. It was a great experience. And did you get reps to special teams? Did you get reps on defense? How was that?
I did everything. I was on kickoff, and I think I was really on kickoff and punt.
Yeah.
And I played. I was also on the defensive side of the ball. So, yeah.
Awesome. And when defense, were you used as a linebacker or DN in the 4-3, or kind of how were you utilized?
It was kind of I was used as like a. So it just kind of depended on like what side I was on, but I was mainly like a defensive end, and then depending on the play, I would either drop or rush. So I was just kind of like basically a hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid. Hybrid. Like weak side / edge rusher, basically.
Right. Like yeah.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you. Micah Parsons was ranked number 7th at Madden's edge rushers. Who is your favorite? I guess let me ask you from both linebackers and defensive ends. Who's your favorite linebacker right now, and your favorite defensive end in the league? Who do you think is like the best?
Who do I think is the best, or who's my favorite?
Both.
My favorite, I've always liked Von Miller. He's always been my guy to watch. But I'll say the best, as far as like a outside linebacker who's rushing, I'm gonna go with TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
As far as defensive end, I mean, I feel like outside linebackers and defensive end are technically the same thing. But as far as like defensive end, my favorite of all time has always been I've watched a lot of JJ Watt.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of JJ. And a lot of Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack going to LA Chargers. That's another big free agent acquisition.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Khalil Mack. I technically just watch everybody, because even sometimes I watch like Joey Bosa, Danielle Hunter, Cameron Jordan. Like the list goes on. I've watched Micah Parsons. I've watched like everybody.
And you basically draw different lessons from each player that you watch, essentially.
Yeah, because everybody do things their own way.
Yeah. Who do you think you most resemble as a player?
I would say probably Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
When he got with the Bears, because I know when he was with the Raiders, he was a little slimmer. Then when he got with the Bears, I think that's when he really got bigger. He weighed maybe closer to like 270. And he's a true, like he was a true power rusher, but he could also beat you with speed. So I would probably say Khalil Mack.
100%. It's funny you mentioned the Bears. I actually got to see him play at Soldier Field when I was living there a few years ago. So, Khalil Mack, that was his first season. His first season in Chicago, and he was just a force, a wrecking, him, Roquan Smith, Leonard Floyd. Obviously Leonard Floyd on the Rams, right? And now, you already know how great of a defensive unit that Bears team was. It was surprising to me that they weren't able to get out of the wild card round that year, but that's the NFL.
For sure, because he was a force to be reckoned with that year.
Crazy, Pro Bowl selection, All Pro. He was actually named to the 100 greatest Bears list before he got traded to the Chargers, or I guess before he signed the Chargers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, pretty much. I'm definitely looking forward. I see that you're conditioning. Talk to me about your off season and what you're doing to stay in shape.
I do a lot of sprints. I do a lot of stadiums. I do a lot of stadium runs, just to build like endurance, stamina, all that stuff, and also to build leg muscle, just leg muscles, and just kind of work on like my fast twitch muscles as well, and like get offs and all that. So I've just been doing a lot of running, just to stay in shape, man. Because if you're in the best shape of your life, you can be a very dangerous player, especially if you don't get tired.
100%. 100%.
You can be a dangerous.
Yep. How about that is nutrition too?
Nutrition is like a big part of it too, eating healthy, and because that helps you with like your body and stuff. I know you've watched probably Ocho Cinco talk about the McDonald's thing. It's funny.
Yes, sir.
I guess everybody knows their bodies, Like if some people can eat that way and perform at a high level, other people it might affect them different. So, but yeah, like I said, like nutrition is a very big part of training.
100%. And I know you got to go to your workout soon, so I won't keep you much longer. So let me ask you this in closing. What are your goals for 2022? What is your message to all the NFL teams out there? What can we expect from Alex Tchangam coming into this next season?
My goal is hopefully I get a call to sign with a team, have a great training camp, great preseason, and play a whole season with whichever team it is that gives me a chance. And all I gotta tell NFL teams is I'm hungrier than ever. I've been cut 2 times now by the Seahawks, so it's all good. I know what I need to work on, but once Sunday comes, a lot of teams gonna see. A lot of teams that pass up on me gonna see.
100%. I'm definitely hyped to see, where you end up next. I'm looking forward to seeing you suit up for your next team. Congratulations on making the NFL with the Seahawks. Congratulations on a great, offseason and practice squad year with Seattle. Looking forward to your success coming up. And Alex, thank you for joining the podcast once again, brother. God bless.
All right, yeah, I appreciate you, man. You have a great one, dog.
You too, bro. Take care.
All right.